On Wednesday, November 16, 2016, the law students in the John Marshall Law School Restorative Justice class participated in a circle as a final class activity. Each of the speakers in this video was a student in the class. The law students had completed an externship program where they had worked with elementary students in the Chicago Public Schools who were truant or had disciplinary or other problems in the school that could lead to antisocial or even illegal activities in the future. The law students used restorative chats and especially peace circles in helping the elementary students to resolve conflicts and improve their school performance. In the circle on December 16th, the law students addressed two questions, the first of which is, how has your personal experience and story affected the children in this underserved community?
I don't think that I came to the school and I changed somebody's life immediately. I just think that me appearing or reappearing there every week might make a little difference. So maybe for the kids sometimes it's really just important that somebody meets them, somebody listens to them, somebody tries to understand them, not to judge them, and for them to see that somebody tries to help them. And if I really should think of what I personally could bring, then for me it would be probably the diversity and another viewpoint, because I'm not from the USA, I'm from the Czech Republic.
I remember the first 2 weeks when I was there, a lot of the sixth graders were saying that they've never met a Vietnamese person, some of them haven't even met an Asian person. So in a really racially segregated city, I think it's important to talk transracially among different classes, and then coming from a place of privilege, it's important for me to listen to these children and not interpose my views, and them to know that that's the case, so they're able to they're able to be comfortable to have these discussions in other kinds of forums later on in their lives.
Starting the restorative justice program, I didn't know what to expect here at Marshall. I didn't know if I'd just be going into a school and I'd be sharing superficial stories, but today in our circle we spoke about feelings. And when I made the statement that the way I grew up, feelings, what are you crying for? A lot of those kids were nodding their heads, relating to how my parents instilled a sense of strength in you so others will never see your weakness, and basically telling them that it's okay to show your different emotions.
I think that my personal experiences have affected the children just through our conversations. Some of them can get really deep really quick, just by asking what happened with their day, and then somebody discussed how one of their cousins was killed, and then for a moment you almost don't know how to react to that. And then I realized, well, I guess I do know how to react to that, or I have had a similar experience. Just to know that somebody has passed away through gun violence, or just passed away, period, is something that you're going to experience in your life, but what you do after that is what's important. My experience of knowing that I was probably their age when something similar happened to me, and them hearing that from me, probably let them understand that they're not alone.
I remember one time one of the boys shared that his uncle, I think, was shot and was killed. And I told them that in the country where I'm from, it's not common that people have guns, because we have fairly strict gun law. And they were so surprised. It was like they couldn't even imagine that it's not like that everywhere, that gun violence is not daily part of people's life. So I hope that with this, or knowing this, they are more open, that they could think about, they might also change things themselves once they will grow up.
One student told us about how he had been at a grocery store and there was just a drive-by shooting 5 minutes after he left. And another one told us about how we can't take boxing lessons because his father had been held up in this neighborhood next door to his, and it's just that could no longer happen anymore. But individually, we can do better even within this unfair system. And that's, I think, what we've been trying to get at with them. And they've been good, they've been open, and they've been really quite wonderful about sharing, about what their concerns are.
I think me being there Although I can't exactly relate to a lot of the things that they've gone through, I allow them to explain these things to me without judgment. I make sure that they know that I'm not there to judge them or to get them in trouble. I'm there to listen to them. The experiences that they've had have given them such wisdom that at that age I did not have.
It's been really humbling because I realized my own experiences that I had in school were surprisingly really relevant with what these kids are going through. I've noticed that they're kind of shocked and they tend to actually listen and pay attention to my personal experiences. And this is also a way for me to be able to talk about things that maybe I've never been able to talk about before to a group of people that would be able to understand and relate on such a deep level that maybe nobody else in my life has ever been able to relate to.
I am from the neighborhood that for the elementary school that I attend to talk to the students. I actually attended that elementary school, and I believe that I have brought a sense of security to the children, a sense of hope. They now believe that they could be what they think that they want to be. A lot of them are unsure at the moment, but I have had some of them want to be attorneys, so I'm proud about that. When there's a neighborhood that's not as privileged, you really don't have that many role models. So I believe that I'm a great role model for them.
I spent most of my summer visiting numerous correctional facilities, and by the end of the summer, I felt completely helpless and just really drained. In these correctional facilities, I think that maybe if there was someone there to listen to them at the time that they were going through these experiences, that the outcome would have been much different, and that they would have felt that they had options and that criminal activity wasn't pretty much their only outlet.
The second question was, how have you been affected by restorative justice put to use in the schools and in your own life?
Another thing that I've learned through this program is how unfair the state of Illinois is when it comes to underprivileged individuals, people of color, or people who don't live to a socioeconomic class. And it bothers me because a lot of these people are the individuals that need the most assistance, need the most attention. It doesn't matter where you grow up, who your family is, what your brother did, how people view you. That does not define you. It does not determine what you can be in life, but instead you prove everyone wrong. What I've been through doesn't really define me. I've actually relived my truth working with these kids because it makes you put a lot of things into perspective. So the program here at John Marshall, like I said, it's a program that needs to be in several law schools, because I think before any of us become attorneys, we need to be sensitive to different areas of life that we weren't previewed to see. So
For me, it is a great privilege to be part of John Marshall Restorative Justice Program. It is the first time in law school that I'm actually exposed to real world and the world of less fortunate people. I think it made me question what I've learned so far at law school. And it just makes you think about each and every person as an individual who has his or her qualities, who might have some also like shortcomings. But I think what we are usually taught is that law is something mechanical that you just apply. That's a rule and you apply it to the individual case. But what's somehow forgotten is that each and every case is different.
This class, it's dragging us down from our studies, our sort of theoretical work in this, and it's saying, no, this is what is actually going on. This is how what it's doing to these neighborhoods and to these kids, and it's for me at least, it's instilling a sense of we can do better. We are not. There are some really terrible things that are happening in these communities in Chicago, but as future practitioners of law, we can choose to make the system run better.
This experience has been really eye-opening for me, particularly in my work. with the state's attorney's office. I'm given different cases every week, and there's always a slew of negatives about different defendants, and you're told, to have at it with all these negative things about these individuals. And I find myself, when I'm reviewing some of these reports and discovering things like that, I'm finding myself wondering, like, what else? Because everybody has a story. So, and I know there has to be more to these defendants than these negative things that I'm given every day, or the negative things that I'm told to work with.
Through this restorative justice program, it's kind of broadened my whole spectrum on the justice system and how it affects everyone, not just the attorneys, not just your specific client, but all clients. I went to law school because I knew that there were problems that I wanted to solve. I don't think anyone's going to be able to solve problems until they're fully educated on what those problems are. And so to be in this program and being able to hear from the people directly who are being treated unjustly by the justice program, it's allowing me to become a better law student and hopefully become a better politician and a better lawyer later on.
I actually had no idea what restorative justice was until, 2 months ago when this semester started. However, I had the idea in my mind. I mean, I'm an activist. I came from a civil and human rights background, and I always thought that there has to be these alternative methods of bringing some sort of peace and unity in our communities. And I know that seems like something so like a fantasy sort of mentality that, peace and harmony and healing and justice, but this is actually something that is very doable. And I think the restorative justice project and idea is an incredible springboard for us to change our entire justice system, our adversarial system that we have in place right now. And I think that obviously it's maybe not perfected yet, but it's way better than what we already have. And I think that the restorative justice idea and movement is long overdue.
What I've learned most about this entire process is that even the most educated people in law school still have something to learn about what else is going on out there. So I didn't really learn that much from the kids because I was one of those children. I learned more from you guys in this class. The actual process that I've been witnessing you guys go through about feeling like you guys are encouraging them and seeing like how they're developing in the little time that you guys have known them. And that's what I've learned the most, and that's what's welcoming to me about this program. And at first, I was really taken back by the restorative justice program being in the hands of people who are in law, because I felt like this is the reason why the problem exists. So to give it to the people who made the problem was really like, I wonder how this will help. But now that I'm in this class, I do realize that this should be expanded to all the attorneys and all the judges and everyone who's into legislature, because this is very important for those who enforce the law to know who they're affecting and how it's affecting them, and that to see that these people are people. And yeah.
What I have learned the most in the restorative justice program is that if we have a judicial system that instead of being aimed at applying sentencing guidelines to offenders, it can bring together the offender and the victim. We can foster rehabilitation to the offender, forgiveness to the victim, and that can be an example to the community, and hopefully it can prevent other members of the community to become part of that cycle.
Throughout the course of this process and being in the restorative justice program here at the John Marshall Law School, it has really changed my outlook on the practice of law. it's shown me that there is humanity in the justice system, that there can be humanity in the justice system, because so much of what I had personally been exposed to over the last, 5 or so years has just been, it's been disheartening. You see a system that's supposed to protect you actually working against you. And being in the restorative justice program has really changed my outlook on law, and I've seen a side to it that I'm really now in love with, and I can actually be proud of. Okay, I want to be an attorney because I feel like there's a place for me to be an attorney that makes a difference and has an impact on lives, and not just, make a lot of money and pay off a lot of student loan debt, but actually make an impact and actually make the world that I want to live in the kind of place that I want to live in.
Merci beaucoup. Gracias.
Gracias. Shukran.
Děkuji.